Hello everyone, Phoenix61 here with your Legend shenanigans for the day. We are in the Bortas again. This is easily my favorite ship from the Star Trek collaboration. We got it from a crate right last year because this is a returning one for the current collaboration, but it's still my top pick. If you absolutely wanted to outright buy a ship, it's great. I don't hardly ever recommend outright buying a ship. I think the doubloons price that they put on ships is just too expensive. So I tend to lean more towards sometimes I'll take my chances with the crates, and that's what I did here in this case, and that's how we got the ship last year, right? So just keep that in mind, right? Like, there's plenty of other tier 6 premium ships out there that you can get one way or another. Lots of them free-ish or whatever, right? Like, just play the game, right? But yes, the Bortas is, it does have some tricks up its sleeve that not everybody kind of knows about or thinks about, right? The biggest thing with it is its armor scheme is definitely pretty hefty in comparison to being a tier 6 ship, right? So even the big hitting battleships, a lot of them can't overmatch you, if any of them, right? Meaning they can't shoot you through the bow and just wreck you, right? So with proper angling, sometimes you can, and I say sometimes, right, you can feel invincible, right? You'll bounce you'll get a lot of ricochets, right, with ships shooting AP at you. Now, if anybody knows this, right, that's shooting you, right, they're going to aim high into your superstructure and do damage to you that way. Or they're going to be shooting HE, right? They're going to be shooting high explosive shells at you and do damage to you that way, right? So the key to playing against Bortas, right, just burn it down, right? So just, yeah, if you go up against this ship, start triggering those fires and you'll get her eventually. But anyway, so we are trying to support the B-hole over here, and we don't have too much help. We've only got one destroyer in this game, and he's floating around in the middle of the map. So not too much is getting spotted here. So we're trying to take our time. I did try to sneak into the zone early there, just put my nose in the zone, see if we could get that early capture on it. But these battleships, right, especially this Colorado or this Mackinson, right, he just pushed right in, so that took away that chance from us. And we are, the ship does, it's a little bit better at that close to like mid-range, but that's also kind of when you can be the weakest, right? So we're really toying around with utilizing this island cover here quite a bit, as you'll see throughout this match, to try and, if we can shoot something without being spotted, we're going to do that. And if we do need to be spotted, right, we're going to try and minimize how many ships can shoot at us, and we're going to try and be angled as best we can. We're being very, very cautious with all of these battleships out here, right? Because if you don't angle, right, if you are nice and broadside, you're going to get blown away with one salvo, just like many other cruisers at, tier 6 and higher, right? So you still got to be careful. So we're just picking on these battleships that have pushed up into the zone, trying to keep us out of line of sight from them as much as possible. Our poor allied battleship here is going to be going up against this Colorado and Mackinson all on his lonesome. We obviously will do as much damage to each of these ships as we can to try and help out. I think he does actually take one of them out for us here, which is great. But yeah, Mackinson's got torpedoes, so I'm pretty sure. So we'll have to see what happens here. Yeah, it's Mackinson on Mackinson, right? So you got that one, and then Colorado. See how Colorado does here, right? I'm trying to back up so we can get more bullets on target. And then the destroyer makes a mistake of getting too close to us and gets himself spotted. And it's not going to take too much to get rid of him. So even if he goes out of our detection range here, the second salvo might be enough. And it is, and that counts as a devastating strike for us. So that is kill number 1. We have at least 4 more to go here for this game. We'll continue to focus on Colorado while he's spotted here. He's going to duck behind the island here, which is fine. We will continue to try and just focus on this zone, right? We're all on our lonesome now that we lost that battleship. As you can see, we are fighting a very uphill battle. We are down 4 ships, and they have only lost 2. This Dupli comes around the corner. He makes the right call and is shooting HE at us. We'll send torpedoes in case he turns out, but we're going to start moving forward here and try and get ourselves turned away a little bit better in case he decides to switch to AP. So we're going to make our hard left turn here, and then he turns for us too, that's going to be his downfall here. As you can see just how much of a chunky shot we got there on him. And then we'll use those rear turrets. We get 3 citadels from that, and then so we're going to turn in so we can get those front turrets on target, and we get that counts. We killed him quick enough. We got a second devastating strike on that one there. So very, yeah. There's some potent AP shells in the right situation here. Now just keeping an eye on the mini-map, that other Colorado, in case he does come around the corner and continues to push that way. We're going to send those torpedoes in that direction. And then I was kind of at a little bit of a struggle of what to do here, but we're going to go in, end up going in towards B to try and get the cap here. And this other Colorado here is going to push in up on us as well. Still has a good amount of health left, so right, we need to be careful. We've got another, I think they're both Colorados here, right? So this one coming into the zone and the other one potentially coming around behind us. So we're going to have to, I don't want both of these guys to be able to shoot at us at the same time here. So we're going to push into the zone and start utilizing that island cover again. We're getting a little bit lucky here. I think our destroyer across the other side of the map is actually what's spotting this Colorado. So we're going to take advantage of having him spotted while we're not spotted as long as we can here and get as many cheeky shots off as we can. The lower his health, the better as we start to approach and get closer to him. And then I gave it a minute here. As I'm looking at the mini-map, I can see our destroyer heading down towards the their aircraft carrier. So I was kind of hoping that he would pick up this battleship for us again, but he doesn't. So we'll keep moving here. I'm nervous about the other one coming around the corner behind us and having a good angle on us. So we're going to be cautious here, save the torpedoes. And then this one, we get spotted here, right? So we're going to turn in just in case. I didn't think he just didn't have enough time to get his turrets on us to get a salvo off, which is good for us. The other one did, though, so wherever he's coming from, he was able to shoot us. So we're going to keep moving up and see. Right, I'm just trying to take a guess on where that other battleship is, because he's coming around behind us for sure. And then here's where we're going to use our armor a little bit, right? So we're going to be able to turn in case this guy does get a salvo off on us, and he does. And you're going to see we take no damage there. I'm not sure how many of those shells actually hit us, but yeah, some of them obviously missed. And then we're going to send torpedoes here. I did shoot him a little short in case he slows down and or turns in. And then, yep, here's the other Colorado coming around the corner as we suspected. He was just a little bit slower than I thought. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this island to our left to make it so that he can't see or shoot us while we work through one at a time here, right? We're going to take this Colorado out first if we can here. Right, and you're going to notice, right, I'm aiming high, right? I'm not going to do much damage against the heavier armor down low by the waterline, right? I'm trying to just hit the upper plating and superstructure and all that other fun stuff to just try and whittle him down. So you notice we're taking decent chunks of damage from him, just a little bit at a time to get the job done. You can see our secondaries firing, but they're not that great, so we haven't built into them, right? But they do have good range on this. They do have good base range on this ship. One more salvo should be able to finish him off. We didn't get lucky with torpedoes. That does pop high caliber for us as well. And then I'm trying to keep that other Colorado, right? I'm trying to keep out of line of sight of him for the time being while we cap this zone. And then I was kind of thinking we had potential to be able to shoot this New Mexico and help out our friends. We are still down ships, right? We've got 3 left, one of them being our carrier as well, right? And so we've still got our work cut out for us. Just trying to get a gauge on which direction that Colorado is heading. He is kind of slowly but surely making his way over towards us. So we're just going to hang out here. Just keep an eye on him and see how much we can do to this New Mexico off in the distance. That first salvo was not the greatest here. 15 seconds left on the zone cap. There we go. A little bit of damage on the New Mexico there. And yep, we'll just keep picking on him. We do lose our Ranger, right? So now it's just me and this Destroyer left. Thankfully, we have a decent Destroyer player on our team. That is, we owe half of this game to him. Or just for the sake of staying alive, in some cases. And then here's where I had to exercise a little bit of patience, right? I'm watching the clock tick down. I'm watching points. We do have the zone advantage for the time being. You notice we get picked up at 2.9 kilometers. That means that this Colorado is running the target acquisition mod instead of the concealment mod, which is fine. And we have him spotted because we have sonar going. That's how we are detecting him, right? So he's going to get a little bit early warning from the torpedoes with that target acquisition mod. So I want to make sure that our torpedo line is pretty centered here before we fire them off. And then we're going to floor it forward and start our angling away so that in case he does get a salvo off, we are angled correctly. He's going to fire into the rocks in frustration as he sees those torpedoes come through. And that is kill number 4. And then we have a low health New Mexico and a low health Flint cruiser up here around the corner too. It's just a matter of time before we can get an angle on them to get our Kraken here. So our destroyer he is spotted, or they're firing into the smokescreen blind. He must have gotten spotted for a split second there, would be my guess. But he's got torpedoes out. I think he gets the Flint, and then we'll be able to finish off the battleship as the battleship gets spotted here as we come around the corner. So he's not going to have any time to react to us as he spots us. So that'll take him out. And yep, destroyer gets the Flint. There goes the New Mexico for our Kraken. This is still losable. You have to kind of keep this in mind, right? There's a battleship out there still too. And if you wanted to say, you know, to guarantee myself this win, I could have just straight up turned away from this Normandy. But he's kind of low on health. I'm kind of assuming we have a decent destroyer player here with us, right? So my normal detectability range, right, getting spotted is 9.9. You can see that up in the top left, right? So we come around the corner at 9.8. So he spots us. So I'm going to wait till he fires, and then we'll slam on the brakes and turn away. Full reverse, turning away. And I think he got a couple of hits on us, but they all bounced, right? We got ricochets because of the armor scheme. And so that now it's going to take him a little bit to reload, so we're going to angle out so we can get our guns on target here. Get the smoke screen between us, so we go undetected again here, but we're still within range. So as this smoke dissipates from this destroyer, we're still going to get picked up. He's moving quick, so we got to lead him a little bit more. That first salvo was not the greatest. And he kept moving, so our torpedoes aren't going to hit, but the destroyer's torpedoes looking a little bit better there. And then he does fire, right? Our destroyer fires at the Normandy, so he ends up drawing fire away from us. And so we can keep firing, and we'll turn in to be able to get those front turrets on target as well. Yeah, so Normandy shot at the destroyer. Shooting our guns, but it looks like he's going to get the Fubuki gets him with the torpedo hit. So about 150,000 damage we end up with there. We'll take a peek at the leaderboard for this one. See how we did. Felt like we did pretty good. And yes, we are using Chancellor Gowron. He pairs quite well with the ship as well. But basically anything you just want to build into AP damage, right? But yeah, 149,000 damage. We do get the coveted 3,500 XP for the heroic effort missions for the week, so that's always nice to do that. And 800 grand in credits on the economy tab there too. Yep, so you can see we got heroic effort completed for the week. That's always nice. I didn't even have the 3,200 yet. Still working through shakedown trials though. So I think we're almost done with this campaign. Yeah, 90, that puts us up to 92. So this game was from, I did this game last week too, so. But yeah, we're using aiming system mod here. You could go main battery traverse speed, because it is kind of slow, but my preference is still aiming system. And then, no, I don't want to rate legends. I feel like every time I have a recorded game, it's like, rate legends, right? But steering gear mod in slot 2, because you don't get propulsion mod, and then we're using concealment for slot 3. And then yes, Chancellor Gowron, he works fine, but right, but if you don't have him, just build into AP damage, right? And same with Andrew the Lip, right? So that's a different collaboration or paid commander, right, from previous, you know, who knows how long ago now. But right, just for inspirations, just pick somebody, you know, there's an AP pen multiplier, you know, commander out there that's free, you know, for an inspiration. And then I am using Nikolai for more range. He's also a free commander as well, because you don't get beyond range in the like regular commander skill tree, right? So we're using Piercer, full speed ahead here, and then punch through, there, right? So those are all AP-centric perks, right? And then fixated for the shell grouping and dispersion. He does have this sort of Colosp, which is like if, you know, you do more damage if they're within 7 kilometers, but that's like so circumstantial, right? So I picked fixated over that one, right? Just because then, yeah. But it is like up to 10%, which is pretty significant. So you do you there. And then refill station, we don't get a fully packed option, but I do like refill station on this ship anyway. So that is going to be our video for the day, guys. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. Please do consider subscribing to my channel. I am still kind of a small channel, so I know that I notice you when I notice one more person. I can see that happening. So I do appreciate new followers. That does help me out quite a bit. So, but yeah, thanks everyone who is following the channel, and especially channel members, and then especially those of you that kind of hang out with me and watch me on live stream. You guys are always entertaining. You make this fun for me, so really do appreciate that. But yeah, I try to do a Legends video every day, so if you are following, we'll see you guys tomorrow.